Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome once again to the Stay Faithful podcast on this Victory Monday. Joining me as always is my buddy David McNiner as we do this Niners Coast to Coast edition. And there he is, popping in just on cue. What's going on, David? How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. It's Monday, but it's Victory Monday.
Exactly.
It, it's
Victory
not
Monday makes it
miserable
all
Monday.
better.
That's what I'm gonna start.
Exactly.
That's what I'm gonna start calling those. It's
Yeah. Things are always better on a Victory Monday. That is for sure.
that's right.
Oh, yeah. So, yes, yesterday, the 49ers got back in the win column at home, defeating the Patriots 30-13 in Levi's Stadium. David, just give me your overall thoughts of the game, man. How'd you feel about it? Just a grand scheme kind of view.
Well, the Patriots are in a rebuild right now,
Mm-hmm.
so they're not necessarily one of these elite teams in the NFL. So we should have beat them, right? And we
Absolutely.
did, and
Mm-hmm.
we did. So this next week it's we'll get into that here in a minute.
I'm getting into that, yeah, but I'm with you there. The 49ers did what they should have done, right? This shouldn't have been like much of a contest, and it wasn't. We know the Patriots are not a good team, so we should have handled business um, in all three phases of the ball. At that, we know the Patriots were going to try to run the ball. They have no passing game, so it was good to see things play out the way they were supposed to. We should say that, the 49ers got busy on offense. I mean, on defense, stopping the run some and allowing nothing in the passing game. And the defensive line got after them. The Patriots' offensive line is completely banged up. They're in shambles. I mean, they just got their left guard back this game, and he wound up getting injured, going right back out. So we know the 49ers defensive line got a ton of pressures, 6 sacks in total. It was good to see the boys rack up in the sack column, which was great. And played lockdown defense on the back end. Can't say enough about the job Mooney Ward did, as well as Deommodore Lenoir. It was great stuff. Great to see those guys in action. Dave's laughing in the background. We can hear his combo. Offensively, the 49ers did what they were supposed to do. It wasn't perfect, but they put together a solid game. A solid game there. Hey, welcome back, buddy.
Sorry, Ty. Like I just got home, and everyone's got to come talk to me like right when
Of
I get
course.
home, and
Of course.
I apologize for the
Nah, it's all
inconvenience.
right. Nah, not at all.
I've been listening to you though. I got you in here.
Yeah, I
You
was
know,
holding it down for you until you got back.
yeah.
Nah, it was just
Well, I mean, when it comes down to it, our defense dominated. Their passing offense hasn't been that good. Their rush
right.
offense has though,
Yeah, we talked about
right?
this last week. We said we know they want to run the
Yes.
ball, run the ball, run the ball, and get whatever they can in the passing game off of that. So the key would be to, just stop the run and lock them down in
Hmm.
the pass game. And that's what the 49ers did. And the biggest thing I was saying when you were away is that we know they. Oh, wait. My laptop messing up. Okay. We know their offensive line is in shambles. So it was good to see our defensive line take advantage of that.
And our interior guys, even without Hargrave, Evan Anderson comes in and gets the sack. Kevin Givens, he tore it up pretty good yesterday. It's nice to see, but at the same time, I need to see this kind of sustaining, over the course of several games, not just one game. It was like it's kind of like reminds me of Brock Purdy's first game. I said he's got to do this for like more games than just one. I'm not going to crown him. He does. But Kevin Givens got 2.5 sacks. That's wow. I'm actually looking at the numbers. Malik Collins got a sack and a half. Evan Anderson got a sack. That's all our interior guys. Nick Bosa got a sack. Everyone got a sack. No, I wish. But yeah, it's doing pretty good. Fred Warner in that pick six, buddy. I was like, as
Dynamic.
soon as I saw that happen, it's like, yeah, make
Yep.
this defense alive, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean,
That was
they don't have any burners.
yeah. Well, there.
Looking at their numbers, and they just, our defense dominated. That's the
Yeah,
truth.
the
They
defense
did.
dominated. Like I was saying, their offensive line in shambles. They've had injuries throughout the season, and they just got their left guard back. He wound up getting injured. Didn't even make it through the game. I think he got injured late in the second quarter or early in the third. So he immediately went right back out. So you saw uh, Malik Collins take advantage of like their right guard, who I think is filling in for someone else. Like they've been shuffling, and you mentioned the names. Evan Anderson got in there. Kevin Givens, he's the next man up, right? Javon Hargrave injured, gone for the season. Kevin Givens is the next man up, and he stepped up and played well. And he's a guy that's been coming on little by little over the years, and he's been that kind of backup defensive lineman. And whenever he gets in, he kind of splashes. He makes plays here and there. So the key question for him
Yep.
is, can he sustain this going forward? And as you mentioned, you like to see the rest of the defensive line do this all the time. Can they sustain it going forward? I mean, it looks good doing that against a beat up offensive line, which we all love. No problem with it, but let's see them do this on a consistent level. That's what I want to see.
Well, so number 91. I don't want to hack up the guy's name. I've been calling him Okay No No. Um,
I think it's okay.
but
Now
this guy,
I got to work on that myself. I have to work on the pronunciation of his name myself. Yeah,
yeah,
but go ahead.
he was elevated to the 53 from the practice squad, not a
Yes.
standard elevation, promoted.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and he got promoted to kind of take Hargrave's roster spot.
Yeah.
Um, but then they also elevated Evan Anderson
Yes.
yesterday, and he got a sack. So it's like
Yes. So yeah,
I kind of liked that kid though out of college too. He's like
Evan
6'3",
Anderson.
326.
Yeah, he's a
You
big dude.
know,
Yeah, and that's what you want for
yes,
the interior defensive line. You want those big dudes in there. And I was going to touch on that, like the approach of what they did. Instead of having all these wide receivers, they demoted one, which was Ronnie Bell, and used that spot to promote Evan Anderson. Get an extra defensive lineman in there to keep the rotation fresh, help out with that pass rush and run game. So I like this idea, and we see it turned out well. I know it's just the Patriots, but I think having those guys always flash in, keeping them fresh, definitely helps. So I could definitely see them, going with this rotation of players going forward. Can you hear me?
and
Oh,
that's exactly it.
mm-hmm.
We got Okay No No being coming up, and that dude's getting some pressures. I'm looking at him like, where'd this guy come from? Um, Leonard Floyd. All kinds of people are like, where's he at? He's out there, folks, and
Mm-hmm.
he's getting pressures. He's hustling.
Yeah,
You know, all because he's not putting up numbers. Don't ask where he's at. He's there. You know,
exactly, exactly.
um, even Gross Matos was kind of tearing it up yesterday, and that was really good to see. It was really good to see our linebackers. I'm still seeing like Demetrius Flanagan fouls. This is on special teams, like go to tackle a guy and the guy just runs right through him. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Then I watch him playing defense, trying to chase the guy down, and the guy's just pulling away from him. I'm going,
Yeah.
um, oh boy,
It's a problem.
you know,
It's a problem. Yeah.
it is, it
Yeah.
is, and Campbell, I mean, he's a veteran. He's
Yeah.
not speedy, folks.
No.
He's no Dre Greenlaw.
No.
So it's like,
He's yeah. So
what can you expect out of this guy,
right.
right?
Right. So here's the thing. So all right, I want to go jump back to Sam Okinawa one real quick. Number 91. You saw him out there making plays. He was the guy in training
Mm-hmm.
camp that they were high on. And he played some in preseason and he made some plays. But then he got injured. And so he's been like on the shelf for a minute. But now he's up, and you see why they were high on him, especially throughout training camp and throughout the spring. Like, he's a guy that looks like he can definitely cause some havoc in there. So I'm happy to see him in there. The linebackers, with Fred Warner's injury, they become an interesting unit because the next man up would be DFF. Now, we know in their base package, it's normally Fred, Campbell, and DFF. With Fred gone, we can easily see DFF moving to the middle and D Winters coming in on the base package, right? And then when they go nickel, the two guys that would be on the field would be Campbell and DFF. Now, that's the interesting part because as we've seen, Campbell is not really a good cover guy. Like, he's basically your standard run-stopping linebacker. That's his forte. So, will they be smart enough to say, hey, let's get him off the field and maybe let's play the young D Winters out there with Flanagan Files, who is supposedly, better in pass coverage, even though he's been shaky at best. But they're the best we have right now. So everybody's going to be keeping an eye on Fred's injury, trying to track how that ankle is doing and what that linebacker group is going to consist of going forward. I got to shout out the chat real quick. Shout out Bebop in the house. Steve O's also in the house. And Jason Massey is in the house. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining in.
How's it
Glad you
going,
guys
everybody?
are here. Yeah. Yeah, so that linebacker group, there's going to be a big question mark if Fred's not out there.
And that's exactly it. Is he has some sort of injury? It's like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, and D Winters has been pretty much injured the whole time so far at this point.
Yeah.
And
But
we
he was out
let
there once
Jalen
again.
Graham we let him go. And
Yep.
did he sign on someone's practice squad or did there 53?
I'm not sure.
I can't remember. But Curtis Robinson's IR. He's out for the season.
He's gone. Right. So we're thin at linebacker all of a sudden.
And I thought we were thin before,
Yeah.
and making decisions like keeping, DFF. He's good on the back end of that group, but when it comes to him being the number 2 or 3 or 1 guy, that's not going to work out in our favor.
Yeah. Yeah. Bebop
And this
brings
is
up
what
something interesting.
Bebop. I've actually.
I like
This
seeing
is
him
an
step
idea
up
I
there.
had.
Yes. I do too, because he's a thumper. He's like a mini linebacker out there. So he can definitely help
And
fill the void.
I'm not a big fan of this Yadam guy. Although, he's kind of tall, he's long.
Yeah.
I honestly look at him like you could put him on a tight end. Right?
Yeah.
I think he could cover a tight end, no problem. He's having issues with wide receivers, though.
Yeah.
But bring in like Luter Jr. or Renardo Green. Bring one of those two in. Play them on the outside. Put Lenore at nickel and just leave him there. Don't even put a third linebacker in. Because Lenore is just like he's just like a linebacker. He's a thumper too.
He plays like one. He's not afraid to get
Yes.
in there, get dirty, uh, put his head down, and hit somebody. I mean, you've seen him blitzing, going into the line, doing what he needs to do. So he does play. So when we
Yeah.
go nickel, I got no problem with him being support in the run game because he definitely has the makeup to do it, and he does it well. It's funny you brought up
Yeah.
Bernardo Green because he actually played yesterday. If you look at the tail end of that game, he was out there in place of Yadam. So it was like, oh, could they be, giving him some reps to ramp him up here? This is what we want to see.
It really is what we want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I kind of like when it comes down to it. I kind of like I've seen Luter Jr. chase down a kick returner from behind.
Yeah,
Um,
he
I
can
like
run.
having speed out there. I like
He's
having speed
long and
out
can
there,
run. Yeah,
and
yeah,
both those guys are pretty quick. They're not slow,
yeah.
but I'm just like, Yadam hasn't quite lived up to what he did in preseason to earn his spot here.
Mm-hmm.
And we have these two young guys that are going to be with us for a few years, so I would definitely like to see them out there playing.
Heck yeah,
Um,
most definitely.
and
Um,
I got my fingers crossed that Fred Warner is okay.
yeah,
You
it's an
know, and
ankle.
and
Um,
yeah,
they didn't say it's the dreaded high ankle sprain. They normally catch that quick. So I think we're dodging a bullet here. It's just some type of weird ankle sprain, and hopefully they're just being extra cautious with it. But it had to bother him if he didn't go back on the field because he's always right back on the field. But he stood like the whole second half. You saw him walking around, doing everything. After the game, he was, celebrating. So it didn't look like it's a major thing where he was scared to walk on it or something like that. So I'm hoping it's just something he can get a few days rest, just get off of it, and he'll be fine. So, but we'll wait. I'm pretty sure they'll MRI it and give us a report tomorrow, all that good stuff. So, yeah, we'll wait and see.
and we had a few injuries yesterday. It's
Yeah,
kind of hurts. You
yeah,
know, oh, I read somewhere where Ronaldo will be
yeah,
nickel going forward.
yeah. They talked about that. They talked about that, and I'm all for it. I'm all
Oh,
for the change
oh,
of playing with to your strength and having Lenore on the outside is a strength. That
yeah.
you know that solidifies the outside. He's locked down. We know that, and you can have Green, who's young, aggressive. He has some speed on the inside, being that nickel support. I think that makes for a better defensive back end. So Jason, I'm with you there. If that's the change they make.
And yeah, I just saw a doggo, but he didn't make it on screen, so you're not going to be internet famous from it.
Nope.
But and well, he also says big ups Evan Anderson. Now remember,
Yeah.
Jason, only one game. We got to see him do this for a few games, and then
Yeah.
next thing he's getting promoted to the 53, and then Hargrave's out for the season, so that gives
Yeah.
us Malik Collins, Givens, and Evan Anderson, and the okay no. Now how do you pronounce his name again?
I think it's Okinawu.
Oh, okay,
Okinawu.
I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna try. I'm just gonna call him
It's
okay no
close.
no.
Sam O.
Um,
I heard someone reference him as Sam O. So you just say
mhm.
Sam O.
Sam
There
O.
you
There we
go.
go.
There you go.
Sam O was brought up to the 53, but I honestly
Uh
look
huh.
at him like he's kind of like Gross Matos. He can play inside or outside.
Right. I'm with you there. He's that tweener kind of guy. Um, he's he's a small guy. He's not really that big. I mean, he's 6'1", around 300 pounds, and not big at all. But he knows how to be a disruptor. He knows how to, get in there. So for me, he's more like you said, that tweener guy. Play him on the edge, definitely. And then on pass rush downs, when you're in that third and long, you need some guys who can just get upfield, get to the quarterback. You bring him in. That could be his role. Although he did make the play on a run play yesterday, where he got the strip for the fumble, which was great. But as long as he can disrupt and make plays, get him out there. I don't care about his size.
And that's exactly it. And we normally keep, in the past years where we've been very successful on defense, we've had like 5 edges and 4 interior guys.
Yeah.
In the last couple of years, it's like keeping 5 interior guys and 4 edges, and keeping Okinono. Well, Samo, I'll call him that. We'll have Bosa Lloyd, Gross Matos, him, and Beal Jr. There's 5 edges.
Yep.
And then on the interior right now, we have Malik Collins, Evan Anderson, and Kevin Givens. We don't really, we could call up like T.Y. McGill or something, if we
you can always
have
call
to.
T.Y. McGill. He's out there.
And eventually we'll get Kalia Davis back.
Yeah.
So, that'll probably fill that roster spot.
Yep.
I don't know when that's going to happen though. I thought he was due back like somewhere around mid-season. So we got like 4 games.
Yeah. They said mid-season, so don't expect him to week 8, week 9, somewhere around there. Probably after the bye. They'll probably wait until then. Make sure you get some practices in and all that good stuff. So it's be a while, but I think they'll stick with the rotation they have now. Just keep shuffling those guys in and out, moving those pieces. Like you said, get Gross Matos in on the interior when they need to. Get these young guys their burn, let them have at it, and see what they can do. And, for game 1, it looked good, but let's hope they can sustain it. Bebop says he's heard Samo has been asking Bosa all the pass rushing questions. Well, yeah, I would too. Like if I'm a young guy in this league, I'm going to the top guy and asking them all the questions. Like if I was a linebacker coming into the Niners, I'm talking to Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. Hey man, what do you do here? What do you see? Blah 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 blah. If I'm a defensive back, I'm talking to Lenore and Ward. It just makes sense. These young guys should be picking their brains and getting all the knowledge that they can.
Yes. And, I mean, our linebacker core, it is what it is, folks. It's iffy right now. Beyond Fred Warner, it's all iffy. Yep. I would love to see D. Winters get healthy and get in there just from his sideline to sideline speed and his abilities. I mean, it would be nice to get him in there.
We played yesterday.
I don't know
he was
when
on the field. So
I mean, is there actually a time frame for getting Greenlaw back? I don't think there is.
There isn't. It's whenever that thing heals. I mean, he popped that thing in the Super Bowl at the end of the year. Like, so it's like he's still, I think, purely in rehab right now. Who knows? No one has mentioned a date for him. Usually Achilles can take like 9-10 months. So you're looking at him in December, maybe November, December. No one has said a thing. So it's all up to how he progresses and how his rehab goes. But man, how awesome was the Fred Warner pick 6?
That was awesome.
We can't not talk about it. I was like,
it was a great interception to start with. How he caught it.
Yeah.
And then he just like turns around and takes off. And I mean, he was getting in the end zone. That he had his eyes set, he had his heart set. He was getting in that end zone. So that was it was really nice to see. You know,
look how he got up there. I like that he had the awareness to get up, run with it. Like he didn't just lay there like some people would. Got up, took off. Had a wall of blockers down the sideline and dove for the end zone. I mean, that was a great play.
It really was. He jumped up. He probably just came out. I'm sure Jacoby Brissett probably just didn't see him. He was like hiding behind a offensive lineman or something, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was a great. It was great.
it
And
was
that
great.
Patriots, hey, that was that a wide receiver or running back that tackled him? He almost had him,
Yeah, he
almost.
he almost got there. Yeah, but he still got in. It was still a score, and it was a score we needed
Yep.
because the offense, once again, has those red zone woes. Got there, got to the freaking. They were inside the 5, I believe, or inside the 10 twice, and came away with nothing but field goals. That is not the formula for success.
No,
So
it's
that's
really
still an
not.
issue. Yeah, that's still an issue. And we know that that can lead your team to lose. I mean, if we go back and think of the game we had versus Philly last year, remember they got down in the red zone and wound up coming away with only 2 field goals, and then we took the game over, and it was all from there.
Dang, their
So
kicker hit a 63-yarder. That's
that's
insane.
Joey
Well,
Sly.
Moody was 3 for 3.
Yeah, our guy was 3 for 3,
You
but
know,
Joey Sly had just hit. He just kicked the bomb. We know he has a strong leg. He played for the 49ers a few years ago. I think it was when Robbie Gold was injured or somebody. So he came in and kicked for us for a short
I
period.
remember. I
But
remember
yeah,
that.
I liked him. I was hoping we would keep him because he had such a strong leg. Can clearly be accurate, but we didn't. But as you can see, he stuck around in the league, and he's still kicking bombs.
And so, our kicker was 3 for 3. He didn't
Yep.
miss anything yesterday, folks. Yay.
Yep.
I honestly, I'm still not mad about that missed 55-yarder. It missed by, I mean, it was like it was just outside the upright.
Yeah.
So if it
Yeah.
would have been like this far to the right, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just not mad about that. It's going to happen from time to time.
Yeah. For,
At
for
least
me,
we have a
that's
guy that can hit a 55-yarder now,
yeah,
though,
right.
right?
He can hit that, but for me, I look at it as from the perspective like the offense failed, right?
Yes,
Like their
need
job
to
was to
score
go down,
touchdowns.
get a touchdown, put this thing to bed, and they failed. And they failed to the point where our kicker is kicking from midfield. You know, so that's not ideal, especially with the game on the line. You want to finish, and that's what we didn't do last week. The 49ers did not finish in all 3 phases of the game. Offense, defense,
We
special
still,
teams, they all
yeah,
failed. No one, no
yes.
group finished that game, right? No group said, "Hey, we're going to take this thing over, finish this, bring it home."
Well, we still had 6 penalties. I mean, it was only 43 yards, but we still had 6 penalties. A fumble lost and an interception thrown.
Right.
Um,
And the fumble was on Garendo. Fumbled
the,
during his
oh,
kick return.
oh no, no! All right. He's got a harness now, and he's attached to a little house with a little hole. I think
Yep.
everyone knows what I'm saying.
Yep. They,
Uh,
they immediately
Hopefully,
replaced
Kyle
him.
just says growing pains, growing pains. It's okay.
It was just a
You
bad
know,
decision by him. I don't know why he ran right into Sauber's back. It was just a terrible play by him. And, young guys make those terrible plays. It just
yes.
happens. I can't put my finger on it. Don't know why, but young guys do that. So it was just a terrible decision by him. I don't know why you don't run the daylight there. But who knows? Who knows? um, but it was good. I think
Yeah. Jordan Mason, 24 carries, 123 yards, 5.1 average, a touchdown. That's if you started him in your fantasy league, you got some points off that, right?
he was running. He was
I mean,
running,
that wasn't as
and
good as Derrick Henry's 199-yard game, but
well,
you know,
yeah, well, he ripped off that long one, and he's Derrick Henry. He's that
yes.
dude. Like, I don't know. Some people say he's up there. He's getting old. He can still run that ball. Like, whatever. But
You
Mason
know,
had a
the
darn
crazy
good
part
game.
about this, like I'm looking at the team stats. So, first down, we had 19, they had 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were 5 for 16 on third down efficiency, which is better than our defense normally does. They
Yeah.
normally kind of struggle at that. We were 7 for 13, which is over 500. That's pretty
Yep.
good. Fourth down, they were 1 for 3.
Yep.
Wow.
Including
But
stuffing them
total
on the
plays,
4th and 1 run.
total plays, they had more total plays than us. They had 62. We had
Yeah.
60.
Yeah.
I mean,
Time of possession was darn near even as well. Had
held
21,
them to
20, I think it was
73 yards rushing,
28 to
216
31
total
minutes.
yards.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, we had 431 total yards. We were just, mud stomping them when it comes to that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think we did too bad. And, Brock Purdy. Well, I'm looking at Jacoby Brissett, 168 yards passing. That's about what he does. 288. Man,
288 for Brock.
he's 15 for 27. I mean, a lot of those were throwaways though.
Yeah, he threw a couple away. Some incompletions. But he played a great
Hmm.
game. He had, I believe, in my assessment of Brock, he played a good game overall. Used his legs, pick up first downs. We love to see that. Had some really good throws. He aired it out a lot. They gave him the deep stuff, and he took it. And we know Brock is not afraid to throw it out there, right? So that was great to see. I think for me, he threw one bad ball, and that was the deep shot to Debo. It was a bit underthrown, so Debo had to slow up, kind of wait for it a little bit. And if you look at it, he kind of caught it on his hip. He had the basket catch it. It wasn't out front, but it was good to see that he compensated and was like, okay, that was underthrown. That throw to Juwan was out front, so he made sure he got it out front where Juwan could catch it and potentially keep running with it. So it was great to see Brock, keep that in mind and come back with a better throw. So that was like the bad throw. The bad decision was the interception to Ayuk. We just didn't see Jabril Pepper there. Kind of threw that ball into double coverage and it got picked off.
So, this next game though, Ty, like the Cardinals,
Mm-hmm.
and I was saying like the first couple weeks, yeah, they're looking pretty good, but they're young and they don't know they're supposed to suck. It will
They
come at
don't know
some
what they
point,
don't know. Yeah.
And yesterday they got stomped by the Commanders,
Yep.
the Commies. I
Yep.
think it's the one of the worst names in like
All of
for
sports.
a sports franchise in the
All of
world.
sports. Yes.
You know, that's just my opinion, folks. The Commanders is horrible, and the Cleveland baseball team probably comes in a very close second with the Guardians.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they stomped them good. It was like 42-13, wasn't it?
42-14 actually. But yes, that's still a
14. Okay,
thumping. That's a thumping no matter how you look at it.
I mean that's insane.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there. I gave them more credit. I think I don't know if I picked them to win in my pick'ems. I'll have to look. I probably took an L if I did.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just insane. It's like how does that happen? Jaden Daniels, he ain't doing too much. 26 for 30, very efficient.
Yes.
233, one TD, one INT.
Yep.
Their running game though, 21 rushes,
That
101 yards.
that's where they got him.
Um,
They
their
ran it down the
backup,
throats.
their backup is a name that might sound familiar. Jeremy McNichols.
Mm-hmm.
8 rushes for 68 yards, 8.5 average.
Yep.
We should have kept him. We should have kept him.
Yeah.
Um, But these guys, like their defense, even got after Kyler Murray pretty good.
Yeah. So one
I'm gonna
thing
have to watch the replay and see if they were playing contain or if they were just rushing.
no, they were just rushing. I watched a little bit of that game. I watched the
Did
quick
you?
condensed version. Yeah, and they were just rushing. And Kyler wasn't looking to scramble like he normally does. He was staying in the pocket. So they were getting after him. And like their right tackle was giving up some pressure. He was looking Colton McKivitz ish, if you will. They got after him a bit. So, you know, I haven't studied the Cardinals at all, just as one game. But if we can generate that kind of pressure on them, I think it bodes well for us. As usual, we need to stop the run. They ran the ball. The Cardinals ran the ball very well against the Commanders. But on the flip side, the Commanders ran that thing down the Cardinals' throat. They couldn't stop the run, and they were attacking them inside and outside. They just kept them guessing. So if Kyle calls his typical run game, where he's in the flow and he's doing his pitches to the outside and pounding the rock on them, I think we can be very successful running the ball on them, which sets up Brock and those receivers to do some good things when we do throw the ball.
And that's exactly it. Like, I mean, the Commanders dominated that game,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Clearly.
449 yards total offense. I mean,
Yep.
I honestly think we could do that too against these guys. You
Yeah.
know,
I
but
think we
you know,
can.
it's
I think
them
we
pesky Cardinals, though, man. It's them
right.
pesky Cardinals,
They are pests. They are
and
pests.
they've been pesky since back in the day. You know, I'm not saying they're gonna beat us, folks. I'm hoping we beat them because you know, finishing the first quarter was just what we did, and we're what 2-2, right?
Yep.
So here we go. We're going into the second quarter. So let's go 3-1 here in the second quarter. I don't have my hopes up terribly yet, you know, but if we can go 3-1 in this quarter and we play the Cardinals and
Yeah.
then we get 10 days rest, right?
No. Short week.
Oh,
This is the short week. We got the Cardinals on Sunday and
oh,
then Seattle on Thursday. This is the short week.
NFL, why do you do that? Two division games within like 4 or 5 days of each other.
Yeah.
Like, come
And
on, you
we have
know.
to travel to Seattle again on a Thursday night. It's like how lazy can you be?
That's I know. It seems like every year we've been
We do
playing
it every year.
them on a Thursday night at
Yeah.
Seattle. It's like, why
Yeah.
NFL? You know, let's. I'm not. I haven't been a fan of the Thursday games. Now playing on Turkey Day, yeah, that's a tradition, folks.
Right.
So that's
But they
okay.
but they
But
set us up last year for it under the guise of, oh well, it's Thanksgiving, so we're giving you a premier game. I was like, we just did this
yes,
last year though, and now here we are, it's like 3 years in a row. Here we are going to them on a Thursday again. I was like, come on.
and I just think it's like a schedule maker's hating on us here. You know, or the
Yeah,
AI. It's like, did you guys program in hate on the 49ers? Was that the
right.
first line of code you put in there for um I just like what they do here, you know?
Yeah,
It could be hate on the 49ers. That's your first step. That's what you guys
yep,
do. Um Give me a break.
yeah.
But
But yeah, but
then it's 10 days rest, right?
then it's 10 days rest, and we play the Kansas City Chiefs at home.
The Chiefs who are like figuring out ways to win. They're not mud stomping anyone. They're
Right.
not. Um,
So the Chiefs will be coming off of a bye, their full bye. You know, their full
Are you
2-week bye. We'll
serious?
be coming off our 10-day mini bye. So it makes for an interesting matchup.
It's just
Yeah.
they
Bebop says he thinks we're the worst
again.
traveling team in the league this year. We normally are. We're normally top 3. So this
It's
wouldn't be
it's either us
surprising
or
if
Seattle
we're
because
number 1
if you
this
look
year.
at a map of where all the NFL teams, Seattle's like up here by themselves, not even close to
Mm-hmm.
another team.
Yeah.
So it's normally them that fly the most.
Yep.
Kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
The schedule makers. I don't know. It just seems like they hate on us, buddy.
Yeah. Now,
And then
going back to what you
after
said.
that,
Wait. Going back to what you said with this, let's go 3-1. I think we can go
yeah,
4-0. We're starting to ramp things up here, looking good. I know people are panicking over the last 2 weeks, the prior 2 weeks, but it was just like, if you look at those games, we just didn't finish. We just didn't put it together at the end of the game to win it. And we did that on Sunday. We finally finished. We was like, don't give them any hope. Put this thing away, and let's get out of here with the victory. I
oh,
think they can start
the
doing that
fourth week,
going
the
forward.
fourth week, we got another home game. We got the Cowboys
Yeah,
coming to
yeah.
town,
That's why I wanted to get
and
back to that because you're gonna touch
Dak
on.
is going to be he's bucking to make the 49er Ring of Honor here. I'm not saying we're going to beat them, but that would be nice. That would be nice.
Be very nice.
Um, yeah, it's not like our schedule gets any better though. So when it comes to being in mid-season form, we need to get there. And this was a good get right game, but the offense still ain't right because they're not punching it in like they need to be punching it in.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that was at the beginning. If you
yeah,
notice, at the tail end, they did punch it in, and we had that stupid drive where we scored 3 touchdowns on one drive, and 2 were called back because of penalties. Right? You had the Jordan Mason pass out the backfield. He made a great run, and they called it back on a holding penalty on Kittle. Brock does a scramble left, finds Juice in the end zone all alone. That was a touchdown. They called that back, illegal formation. And then we didn't touch on this, but then we got George Kittle going up for what's probably the offensive play of the day, where he went up for his touchdown in the corner of the end zone. And I'll just bring up a quick shot of that. Got to give a shout out to George Kittle because this was a great grab by him. Going up, outstretched, over defenders, hauling this thing in. I mean, just epic grab here. Getting hit by 2 guys, holding on to it.
it was a great catch. It
It's a
was a
great
great
catch.
catch.
Absolutely
I'm honestly
insane.
thinking, minus the injury game, we're seeing the Kittle of old here. You know,
Yeah.
it's like he's incredibly motivated at this point, and I would love to see him do this type of stuff all season long. Somewhere between 3 and 8 catches a game, so somewhere in that range. Just keep feeding the guy.
We just got to call his
And
number. Call his
yeah,
number and throw it up to him. And we talk about the red zone woes, but Kittle is a red zone threat. He is an end zone threat. Let me put it like that. He's 6'5", weighs about 250 pounds. He's a matchup nightmare for defensive backs because he's much bigger than them. He's matchup nightmare for linebackers because he's quicker than them and can get open. And he probably has the best pair of hands on the team. So we really should be using him in the red zone. Like, throw the ball to him in the end zone more often. Because you clearly see from that play, like, bring it up once again, like, he's a difference maker out there. Like, he can elevate, get up, go get it over defenders. Like, that is not a fluke. That is in his skill set. So we should definitely be targeting him, you know, for scores.
Oh yes.
Like Bebop, throw it up there, Brock. That's what he did. You threw it up to him. Just Kittle out there somewhere. You throw it up. Give him a chance. And the
Two
ball wasn't even
defenders on
accurate.
him, and he went and
Yeah.
got it.
The
It's like,
ball wasn't completely accurate. He had to stretch and kind of bend for it and still brought it in. Incredible play by George Kittle.
and this is why he's always a top two tight end in the league, right? Always the
Most
top two.
definitely.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, Travis Kelsey." Travis Kelsey don't run block like Kittle. He don't pass block like Kittle. Um,
He don't got the yak
at
like
one
Kittle.
point, no, he don't. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's got that one lady as a girlfriend that that no one really knows.
Never heard of him.
Um, but yeah, it's like he's not Kittle's the whole package. And it would
Exactly.
be nice to see him utilized more. The reason they use Travis Kelsey so much is because who else do they have?
Yeah, exactly. He's their number one receiver, period, in Kansas City.
Yes.
Whereas
Yep.
here we have a plethora of weapons. You know,
Yep.
it's any given day, anyone can be the number one, right? It's all up to how Kyle dials it up. But it's always
Yes.
Kittle should definitely have a certain number of targets per game, like a minimum of 5 or 6, where he's the number one, just like on that pass play. Like he was the number one receiver, the number one target. And Brock was like, all right, I'm throwing it up to you. No matter what. Because if you look at that play, Debo came wide open underneath it. And Brock could have easily hit him, and Debo could have turned upfield and powered that in for 6. But Brock was like, I'm going to Kittle no matter what. He was predetermined to throw it up to George, and that's what he did. But that's what I mean about give George where he's the number one target, and you put it up to him if, the defense gives you what you're looking for.
And Juwan can do the same thing. Normally, he's covered by a defensive back that's not as tall as him, so
Mm-hmm.
he could do the same thing. Debo and
Exactly.
Ayuk, they're not, they're not tall fellers.
No,
They're not, but
no. We're,
but
and
they're
that's
the. I even saw Ayuk running like, Brock was scrambling and he started running and he's wide open, but it's like at that point Brock's throwing across his body back over the field, and I think Kyle's been trying to teach him not to do that
mm-hmm. Yep.
because typically those throws don't go very well.
Yeah.
Um,
Hold up.
I
Bebop
don't.
just brought up a historical reference about the alley oop is a term first coined not in the NBA, but by our very own San Francisco 49ers. Y.A. Tittle, the great Y.A. Tittle to the great R.C. Owens. Yeah, same play. The alley oop, you throw it up.
It, I like it, Bebop. I like it,
Yep,
buddy.
yep. People forget about R.C.
That's a
Owens
good
and the
history
alley oop.
lesson.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up in a later show, but since you brought it up, I got to give you a shout out for knowing that, buddy. That's good stuff.
So where do we go? Or is it at Arizona this next week? Let me look real fast.
No, we're home.
Nope,
We
we
the
are.
next three out of four. You mentioned this next quarter of football. The next 3 out of 4 are at home.
Mm, and that might be just what we need, though. Get warmed up.
Yeah, yeah. You get a home stretch. This is was like your. We got our first quarter
Oh,
right.
oh, okay. So we're at home versus the Cardinals. Then we go to Seattle.
Yeah,
Then we're back home for two more.
yeah.
So
The next 3 out of 4 are at
next three
home.
out three out of
The only
four,
one
we're at
is the
home.
Seattle road game. So like this first quarter of the season, we know that's like our preseason, right? Because a lot of the
Hmm.
starters did not play during preseason. So this was their ramp up. This was their warm up. Yesterday's
So
game,
we got another week 9 bye.
yes, Where have you
Am I
been?
seeing that right?
Dude, where have you been? Schedule been out. You just now seeing that?
I know. I don't pay attention to when the bye week is. Those streams were like right when the schedule came out. That was a long time ago. That was like forever ago. I
Uh-huh.
was a young man back then.
Yeah. The season has aged you already. But yeah, as I was saying, first quarter of the season, that's our ramp up. We got our good feel good game where mostly everything went right, got on track, positive outlook yesterday. Now we go into the second quarter. Now this is when we start playing some real football, right? We got
Yes.
division games. We got our nemesis, our most recent nemesis, the Chiefs coming in, and then our longtime rival, the Cowboys.
Yep.
So this is when we start playing some real football. Things start ramping up, and we get to see who the 49ers truly are starting here. This is the real starting point. So let's go. All games are important. They're especially important at this time of year.
I'm just looking at the. We're at Arizona to finish the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why do you do stuff like that, NFL? That's like.
Well,
Hopefully, we
remember,
don't need that game.
yeah, remember a long time ago, the NFL changed it so that all division teams play each other at the end of the season because they felt too many teams were resting their starters for the last game and it hurt their revenue. That's basically why they did it. That's all it was. Because people weren't coming out to see, Peyton Manning's backup or Tom Brady's backup. That's why they did it. So they felt this would make it competitive and starters would play, even though that hasn't played out the way they wanted it to. We just saw it last season. Our very own 49ers rested our starters. And so did the Rams for that matter. Like Carson Wentz was the quarterback. So that's the reason why they
Well,
did it.
and considering how we go into the playoffs, okay, maybe I hope we do need that game so we can, hopefully we're
Play
on a
some real
roll by
football.
then. But we do need that game so we
Yeah.
can, play our starters and roll into the playoffs all hot and ready, right?
Yeah.
Where's that? Oh yeah. That's that one place. Um. All right, Ty. Well, you got anything else you want to talk about?
Nah, buddy, it's just good win yesterday. It's good to get back on track. Back to form, I should say. That's what the 49ers looked like. It looked like they were back to form on all phases of the ball. So it was definitely good to see. Hopefully, the injuries that we suffered aren't anything long term. They're small, and we're just ramped up to go on Sunday. Yeah, versus the Cardinals. Any final
Yep.
thoughts from you?
We got to keep the ball rolling. Got to get it
Mm-hmm.
win against the Cardinals. Every win matters.
Yep.
We have two losses at this point. I actually picked us to be a 12 to 13 win team, kind of depending on how injuries play out, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you. I picked us to lose the first Rams game. I picked us to lose against the Chiefs, the Packers, and the Dolphins. The Dolphins, I don't. That really depends on if Tua's back.
Right.
You
That's the
know,
big question mark right now. So hold your horses
so
on late season predictions because we never know how this is going to go.
yep.
Yeah.
Bryant actually picked us to lose against the Vikings, so he was right
Mm-hmm.
there. I'm not
Okay.
gonna. But we'll
Hey,
see how the season
we'll
rolls
see.
out, folks. I hope I'm
Exactly.
not right. I hope we just win out and go 15-2.
Exactly.
But we'll see how the
But we'll
season
see.
rolls out.
Well, the big time fun starts now because now we
Hmm.
enter in what people might call the gauntlet of our schedule. A lot of tough games, a lot of teams we don't like that we want to beat. So we'll be salivating to get those wins. So it's going to be fun. Hey, next week we're on Davis' channel, that guy. So make
That's
sure
right.
you like and subscribe to his channel. And David, what else do you got going on this week?
Well, Wednesday we got the Corey Davis 49er Wednesday. It's the NFL Pick'ems. It's going to be week 5.
Nice.
You know, um, I think there's a winner in kind of a dominant fashion because a lot of us are just not. We don't know who to pick yet. We're still
Mm-hmm.
figuring it out, right?
Right. Right.
And then Friday we play. Well, we get goofy with the Jackbox TV games. It's if y'all haven't watched it, please go back and check that out. There always seems to be a theme going on.
Good
Shout out to
replay
Kenny.
value.
Shout out to Kenny. He was kind of the theme last week.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, you should check it out, folks. We're kind of shy going away from the games we really like, and we're playing new different ones just to see what happens. See what they're about, and we'll just keep that ball rolling. And then of course
Yes.
Sunday is the pregame at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Last 2 times I've been joined by Bryant, and it might not happen every
Nice.
week, folks. But it's nice for him to hop on and hear from him. And Damian Lee even hopped in this last one, so
Very cool.
I'll be doing that every week for the rest of the season into the playoffs. Hopefully, we make the playoffs. It's still early, folks.
Yeah.
You know,
Very cool. Very cool. Well, that's our show for the evening. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Like I said, we'll be back next week on Davis Channel. So remember, season just getting started. So don't worry. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Stay faithful. David, take us home.
hey, it's Go 49ers, and as Corey Davis says, F all 31 other teams.
That's right. See ya.